answer that question.
Okay, let me try. So there is an issue, for instance, with free will. Free will is an intermediate representation, I think. Free will is what decision making under uncertainty looks like from your own perspective between discovering the first person perspective and deconstructing it again. And once you have deconstructed your first person perspective, you basically realize that there is a particular procedure that you are following when you are making your decisions. And when you observe yourself following that procedure, you will not have an experience of free will. It's just we rarely get to the point in our short lives where we fully deconstruct this. And I just give this example to argue for the possibility, and I'm not sure, there's no certainty there, that consciousness might be an intermediate representation. It's basically a simplification of the state of affairs in which we are in before we automate all the necessary behaviors that an intelligent system might have want to exhibit in when it's being confronted with the world in which we are in. The reason why we experience things is not because physical systems would be capable of doing so. It's quite the opposite. Neurons cannot experience what it would be like to be a person that is confronted with a complex world and it changes its attitudes in response to what's happening to it in this complex world. But for the organization of the neurons that is controlling the behavior of the organism, it would be very useful to have this knowledge of what it would be like to be a person that is changing its attitudes in response to what's happening to it. So what the neurons are doing is they implement a model of what that would be like, a simulation of what that would be like. In the same way as the neurons create a simulation of a Euclidean universe with objects that bump into each other and have causal interaction, the neurons create the model of agents that care about future states and how they play out and make decisions about this. And one of these agents is going to be a model of the organism itself and the behavior that motivates the organism. And the reason why we experience things is not because we are in the brain. It's because we are in that model. We are in that simulation. We are in that dream that is woven by the brain to explain its own behavior. We experience things for the same reason that a character in a novel experiences things. It's because it's written in the story. And the story that we experience, of course, is not a linear narrative made up of words. It's a more complicated world. It's a causal structure that contains the necessary properties to simulate physics and personality and agency and so on. And we find ourselves in that dream. So our experience of the world is virtual. It's a result of the capacity of neurons to dream and to create dreams.